When I consider where this journey started, it probably started many millennia ago. But really in this real time now, the journey had to be a trip that would see NAAMA in its very earliest form take to the road and travel to strong men's cultural men's groups across Northern Australia. So we flew from Darwin, and the first point of call was to catch up with CAMS, which is the Kimberley Aboriginal Medical Service, and they have a subcommittee group which is called CRAMS, which is Kimberley Regional Aboriginal Men's Health Service, and it's made up of Kimberley representatives. And so we initiated this conversation with their chair and some of their directors around the importance and what I see as something that would be really important to capture the voices, and they completely endorsed our work across the Kimberley. So that was the first step. The next step was travelling to one of the most northern, out of reach communities, which is Jadajan. It's 200 kilometres north of Broome, up on the Dampier Peninsula. And the first point of call was speaking to Nathan McIver, who's the CEO, and he very generously acted upon it to get his board, his chair involved, and then they worked with the men to see who wanted to be part of this conversation. And from the very onset, the moment we arrived, there's a narrative of hope and there's a narrative of desired change. Aboriginal men are recognising that we need to take responsibility for our role back in our communities where we hold the relationship with law and country. And so I expect in this entire journey as I travel across Australia, people are going to have their own different versions of this relationship. But right now here in the far northwest, up in Jadajan, it was about reconnecting Aboriginal men from that country, from that Bari Jawi country, to connect with their people, to connect with their law, to connect with their ceremony, and to talk and to listen to the country and to the spirits of the land. We travelled down to the mighty Fitzroy River, to Fitzroy Crossing, Matawara, and there we had an incredible meeting with KALAC, which is the Kimberley Aboriginal Law and Culture, and they really hold incredibly rich archival information and history about the Aboriginal men and the movement of Kimberley Aboriginal men and law and culture, along with women, but our narrative is about the men. And there in that conversation, we saw that, again, this very deep willingness to be part of this alliance where they could communicate. And there's an excitement amongst Aboriginal men so far in the language and in the conversations about sharing culture. I mean, we're already doing it as Aboriginal people. We're watching YouTube or TikTok or videos on social media of Aboriginal men from around the country that are hunting, that are bush mechanics, and it's what we're engaging with. And so now we're bringing this to life and making it accessible through an alliance of contacts and connections, and that's what this weaving is about. From that weaving, travelling out of that beautiful country, of Bunaba country, we travelled across into Gidjanjaru country, into Halls Creek. And today we were fortunate enough to have an incredible conversation with the men at Urayungi, which is the Aboriginal Medical Service, but they have a strong men's group that they work with twice a week. And in this conversation, I was blown away, like 25 Aboriginal men from varying ages, anywhere from probably 20 years old to maybe 65, 70 was the oldest man in the room. So an incredible disparity in age, but an incredible willingness to want to be part of this conversation. And so the conversation was incredibly deadly in terms of me sharing this narrative of what my aspirations are. Those aspirations align with the Paul Ramsay Foundation and also with the three organisations which are helping guide the principles of the establishment of NAAMA. Today I left really enlightened, and the one common theme that I'm starting to see is Aboriginal groups across the Western Kimberley and now into the Eastern Kimberley are already having these meetings around, potential camps on country. How do we do it? How do we build it? How do we get people interested? How do we make one accessible? And this is where NAAMA plays a significant role, because we can help tell their story. One of the great challenges Aboriginal men's groups are facing is funding. And so I'm educating about if we push this narrative of really powerful, uplifting stories of men standing up on country, and for family, people will no longer be able to ignore the voices. We had an amazing week last week. The NAAMA Roadshow was week one. We finished our adventures on beautiful Mirong country in Kununurra, where we had the opportunity to spend the time with the men from the Warringati Strong Men's Group, also the GY Men's Group. Amazing conversations, just like these really powerful conversations led by Aboriginal men about the aspirations of Aboriginal men for our country, for our community, for our culture. We also spent time on the beautiful Balangara country with Simon Birch, an incredible man. Most people know this brother from his music, and it just really was amazing to hear a man that is just so passionate and so committed to the preservation of culture and stories through his own music and his own journey. But just what he does to lead men through these men's groups. It was an incredible time across the whole Kimberley. This week, we are here in beautiful Far North Queensland, not too far from my home country. Right now we're standing on Kimberley, on this beautiful country here, and stay tuned. Yo, Yalada, which way mob? Here, week two of the NAAMA Roadshow, the Northern Australian Aboriginal Men's Alliance, and I have the privilege to be sitting right here amongst the footsteps of my ancestors. That we are on Gulga Yalanji country. We are at Shipton Flats at Kuna, which is the traditional name of it, and this really is the land that rebuilt my life, and so it's a privilege to have NAAMA here. This week already, it's been an incredible week. Day one upon arriving, we had an incredible conversation with Bala Fraser Nye, who was a previous councillor of the Torres Strait Island, and Bala Laurie Nona, an incredible artist, a very reputable and renowned artist from the Torres Strait Island, and we introduced them to the conversation of NAAMA. The way it was received from a perspective of Torres Strait Island men was incredibly warm. In fact, they were like, well, when are you going to bring this up to the Torres Straits? The next day, we had the privilege of going into BBM and being part of the national Talk Black radio station, where we introduced NAAMA to the Aboriginal airwaves. And this is, the radio station for our people is such a powerful narrative that we still listen to it. It's a way that we communicate. It's a way we send our messages. It truly is a songline of contemporary days. And we had that conversation there, and again, the warmth and the reception of the narrative of NAAMA are incredibly passionate and positive. We also had the privilege of catching up with one of my absolute heroes, one of the true leaders, trailblazers in Dr. Mark Wenatong. Introduced Mark to the concept of NAAMA. We spoke a lot about men's healing, men's business, about country and what relationship that plays with healing. And one of the beautiful parts about it is that Mark was able to say that I have medical research and evidence that actually can back this up, that when men connect to country and they connect to identity and they start developing a purpose based on country, they start to lift up again. And that's really what NAAMA is about connecting Aboriginal men, weaving a songline of the Aboriginal men's narratives right the way across Northern Australia, and we hope that it does influence the whole of Australia. We headed up to Mariba and we caught up with Mulungu Aboriginal Corporation, and every Monday night they host something really deadly. They host the Yababala Yarns, which is a yarning circle for Aboriginal men from Atherton, men from Shanty Creek come, which is the rehab facility. A lot of the bullas there had transitioned out of Lotus Glen, but what it does is it gives Aboriginal men a safe space to come and talk. So it was an incredible privilege to go there and to yarn with the brothers there and just sort of give them a little bit of my story, but also motivate them with the story of what NAAMA is and what we hope to be able to achieve. Tomorrow we'll leave this beautiful country, head back down to Irukandji country on Yidinji land, and we will be catching up with the Kunjur Aboriginal Men's Group. So stay tuned and be part of the next parts of the adventure. Yalada Mob, standing here just at the foothills of what leads into one of our most beautiful Aboriginal communities here around Far North Queensland, which is Yarrabah Aboriginal Shire Council. In the distance over there, we have Gamoy. Last night, we had this incredible privilege to attend the Kunjur Aboriginal Men's Healing Circle. Unfortunately, we didn't get any footage of the actual circle, but it just wasn't appropriate. The sacredness of the conversation, and just men just really openly sharing, the ups but some of the big downs that Aboriginal men are facing. And, what it did was, highlight the incredible need for these men's yarning circles, but the incredible need for Northern Australian Aboriginal Men's Alliance to start weaving these groups together so Aboriginal men have a platform, have a voice to continue sharing their stories and just keep growing. Yesterday was, after spending a couple of days up in Shipton Flats, up with family for me, and, Mullen, one of the senior elders from Northeast Arnhem Land, from Iratingu, we had these really strong conversations about this incredible need for Aboriginal men to come together, to sit together, to walk together, to yarn together about the uplifting, stories of men's lives and how we lead our communities forward. Incredible reflection has started about what the last 2 weeks were. Yesterday had the incredible privilege to catch up with Bulla Walls, who, runs a Black Devation. He's an incredible young man that is really advocating for the climate. He's speaking for the environment, and he's bringing awareness and legitimate awareness to what are the challenges being presented to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people in the Northern Cape of Australia and across into the Torres Strait Islands. We also had the opportunity to meet with the Elder and Muramu from the Yidinji Sovereign Government, which was a really important conversation about men, and the topic, the narrative has not detracted from men the whole way across the country. It's about what Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander men are seeking, what they're needing, and what support networks we can promote as a result of NAAMA, the Northern Australian Aboriginal Men's Alliance. In every conversation we've had, it really has been received in such a powerful way that Aboriginal men are saying, yes, this is important. Yes, we need a place that links us all together. And yes, we need a peak body that will advocate and champion Aboriginal men's stories on country and for healing. I want to give a massive thank you and a shout out to every single organisation that has met us with absolute open arms. Aboriginal organisations, Aboriginal communities, we already are kind of nervous when we're unfamiliar with something because of how much, has been taken from us in the past. But this has been received in such a positive light that Aboriginal organisations and Aboriginal men that we've interfaced with over the last 2 weeks have greeted us, have welcomed us, and then have treated us as family. And I want to thank you all, and I look forward to having you part of the Northern Australian Aboriginal Men's Alliance, and I look forward to supporting you directly. I cannot wait, for the next couple of months to continue building this, and I cannot wait to continue capturing the voices of Aboriginal men, their aspirations and their dreams, and sharing it across our network.